Can you believe it? It's a coon! Okay. I think I've ran over a groundhog hole, and I've bent the shaft that this dolly wheel goes over. I've never bent or broken anything on this baler that was, you know, caused it to not operate. But what's happening is it bent it enough that the tire is hitting the mount. And I thought that it should have probably bent here or here, but I don't see any stresses or anything there. So whatever it was, it bent it like right about there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a chain or a cable across here. Well, I can tell you what I'm going to put on there. I've got my chain hoist here, and it fits right over that axle, okay? And I'm just gonna pull it, and it should be enough to bend this back where it belongs, and I'll probably tap it with a hammer a little bit and just get it to where it needs to be, because it's not touching the ground quite properly, and whatever I hit, it did bend the rim, but I bent it back with my brass hammer. So yeah, I'm probably going to take and stick a block of wood behind here so that it stays in line with the tractor, and that's what I'm going to use as an anchor point to pull this thing back with. So, okay. So, when I go to pull on this thing, it's going to cock it to the side, like really hard to the side. And I don't want it to do that. So what I'm going to do is, I have these wedges made up. Who's over there, Tim? Maybe Tim can help me out here a little bit. I got these wedges made up, and what they'll do, because I'm one lonely dumbass, I don't know anything, right? If you need to take up the space, and you've only got a 6x6, it ain't gonna do. You can go and you can fight with a 2x4, and maybe that will take up some of the space, but it's not gonna work as efficiently as a ramp system. See that? So, you get them cut like that, and then you get them behind there. It turns from a 6x6 to, like, I don't know, a 6x8 or a 6x10. So you can do it that way. I've found it to work quite successfully. Okay, nothing too exciting here, just jam them blocks in there. I had made ramps, actually me and Carl had made ramps, and those were the ends of the ramps that we had made. I did end up making larger ramps on the sawmill, but these work really well for this. I mean, it's easy to discover uses for things after you've made them by mistake. But yeah, so I hope you're enjoying this thing, but here we go. Okay, so that's right where it belongs. Yeah, the reason I can tell is a lot of times if you tap it, steel has kind of a memory to it. I mean, if you're working with it enough, you'll know that. But what was happening was it was hitting here, and it was wearing the top of the tire off quite substantially. And I noticed it a lot yesterday. It was plugging up a little bit more on this side because this tire, the hay was actually coming around and wedging underneath there, stopping the tire from turning. So, yeah, you can see there where the stopper is, that it's actually hitting it quite squarely. Quite square. So I think everything's good. I'm going to call it good. Maybe I'll go over to the other side and take a look at that. Well, I just noticed that this one is bent down too. Well, ain't that something? I'm going to have to see if I can get this header lightened up somehow. It just seems like there's an awful lot of weight on the header. And I know that I had problems with it last year, and that's why in February we did the whole rebuild series. So I'm going to move my block over and do the same thing here. I don't think you're too interested in it, but yeah, and I'll fix that right now because you can see that it's bent. Yep. Oh yeah, see the gap at the top there? and it's actually hitting over here, which it shouldn't do. So I'll get my wedges.
Okay, so it was quite a surprise to go to the other side and see that this had been damaged, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure we're good there. I got plenty of room now. Yeah. It's not a uncommon thing for this to happen, believe it or not. And I'll explain that, like right now, as soon as I can tick that in there. Okay. So I called Messick's. I wanted to talk to Gerald about it because he had expressed that this header was awful heavy on the ground. It took 2 people to pick it up when I sent it in February or January. February it was there. So, got a hold of Ryan. Ryan said that this is a gray area when it comes to Krone. But I understand what the deal is. And I'll explain to you that Krone does not set up their pickup headers the same way you would set up a John Deere, a New Holland, a Heston, Massey Ferguson, or any other baler manufacturer that is out there. Krone is different, and I'll explain to you why and what is different about them, and I do not agree. I'm allowed to say that because I own this thing. Okay, so here's the spring this is the float spring. This header is a 3-piece header, believe it or not. This frame here does not move, so this is the tension on the spring that is supposed to allow this thing to float up and down. It is basically not enough. As a matter of fact, it is totally not enough to cause it to float. I can grab this thing here and pick up as hard as I want. I can't lift that. I'll bust a nut before I get that thing lifted up. So Ryan told me, and Gerald's going to call me back. Let me get my little wedges out of the way. Gerald's going to call me back and explain to me what he feels is the proper way to do this. I know what the proper way to do it to set it up is. It's right here. Okay, now I'm going to take it down on level ground as soon as Tim's finished with what he's doing and I clean up my mess. This little guy here is a stopper. Okay, it's got these teeth and it's got these little 2 gear gizmos. These 2 little gizmos here which are attached. I don't know if they're, are they bolted on? No, that's welded on. It's welded on there somehow. Anyway, this is what you do. You set it up level on the ground, and then you set this so that when these are on the ground, they're just touching the ground, and they're blocked right here. Now, that's how I had it last year. That's how I had it set up last year, and I did have some problems with it. I did have some problems with it missing hay. When I sent it out to Messick's, Gerald actually moved that thing all the way back out of the way so this thing could contour the ground. But anyway, with that being said, I'm actually going to pull this thing down onto level ground, and I'm going to adjust both sides. There's a right and a left-hand side, so those blocks are touching this, and that's set so that it will just touch the ground. And yeah, I have an idea myself to take this little rigidity bar out and use a strut system like out of a car and bolt it on there so that it is solid and I can still adjust it up and down. I'll still use this. That you can still use it up and down, but that strut system, so when it is on the ground and you do hit something, it can move like that instead of bending that shaft. That's my idea. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because it is still in warranty, but I don't know. We're going to find out because it's kind of annoying. Anyway, let me get it down on level ground. I'm going to need you to go inside. Go inside and pick it up. This is how you're supposed to do this. set it down. Okay. That's supposed to be how it works. Pick it up. Kind of annoying that I can't get that pin in there. Very good. No, on there. Come on. Well, that's annoying. But yeah, I'm hard on my knife. There you go. Alright. Drop it down. And that's where it hits, right here. Okay, so that's the float. That's its float control. It is still on the ground, just not very heavy on the ground. Go ahead, pick her up. I don't like it. Now, personally, I think it's bullshit. I think that it should float a hell of a lot nicer than that. But you can see the three sections of this pickup. You have the upper section here, the lower section, and then the mounting section. And this is the float spring, which I think should be a lot tighter. Go ahead, up and down. Well, that's how that works. And of course you've got your adjustable windrow. Go ahead, drop it down. So these are the three sections of the windrow. Timothy filled the grease gun, that's why you're seeing grease there. He filled the grease gun up and it is running its grease like normal, like it's supposed to. At least I think that's the way it's supposed to go. He's trying to figure that out. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, yeah, it seems like it's doing its thing. There's always extra grease down in here for some reason, but it just comes off. I don't know whether that grease zerk is bent, broke, or what, but these are the grease ejection ports. Oh, hell. I don't like that system. I'm going to be the first one to tell you and the last one to tell you. I think that sucks. For the simple reason is if I go over a dip and it won't contour the ground, it'll come up to it, drop a little bit, ride on the blocks there, and then boom, bump up. I think this needs shock absorption. That's just my opinion. But anyway, here I've got this side done, and we'll walk around the other side. And what happened with this tire, I'm afraid, is exactly what I thought was going to happen. This is the Vredestein Sting, and this is the ATC tire. That one's taller than that one, obviously. You can see it. Yeah, so this one's blocked too, and that's all the farther that will go. It's blocked. Go ahead and raise it up. Nah, he's out already. Okay, so that's it for that, hopefully. And you see now this can turn and pivot like that. It's got, you know, it's got room to pivot, and it just kind of rides on there. So we'll see what happens.